first heard about it as well, I didn't believe anything they said. But then everyone was saying, yeah, it started in Birmingham and now it's in London and stuff like that.
Well, they were saying it was like a monster creature. He gave me like eating human people. He gave me human beings.
There's a bit of hype about it, that they're gonna come up from nowhere and just start biting you.
Move that camera, man.
Listen,
man. Bruv, you heard about them people who talk about that.
Yeah,
that
just
For almost 5 years, residents in the East End have been haunted by a strange urban legend that refuses to go away. The legend tells of mysterious creatures roaming the dark passages of local estates after dark, savagely attacking lone victims and drinking their blood. As ridiculous as it may sound, people living here have been genuinely affected by these rumours, their fear fueled by several articles appearing in national newspapers and news media. But are there really vampires roaming our inner cities, or is there an even more dangerous predator out there? Mile End. And in this community in particular, you don't have to go very far to hear a vampire story.
I've heard the newspapers and that, and people around Poplar, I think it was Bird Mile End, these places, there was people just taking bites out of someone.
Some were saying they look like a wolf, some were saying they look like a fox.
It affected me because obviously there's something out there in it biting you, and it crawls up. You don't know what to believe. There's like a dog, turns into a dog, so imagine you see a normal black dog, like you think, oh, is that him?
But there are experts who think that rumours of vampires on the streets of Britain point to an entirely different type of danger. In 1998, a Spanish anthropologist published this paper. In it he claims that vampire myths, like those circulating in UK cities today, are in fact the first signs of an epidemic of rabies. Rabies is a brain disease that infects mammals, even altering their appearance and making them unstable and prone to violent and savage attacks. Juan Gomez Alonso argues that animals infected with the rabies virus are commonly mistaken for vampires in their appearance and behaviour. Could it be that rumours of vampires are in fact a sign of an outbreak of rabies on the streets of Britain?
The things you connect with vampires is blood in the teeth, biting, this kind of frenzied attack. These are all symptomatic of the behaviour of infected organisms in the latter stages of rabies. You know, someone has been attacked on the streets and it's happened so quickly, this kind of blurry figure in the dark, and they've come away believing they've been attacked by a vampire, when it's most likely to have simply been a rabid dog or fox.
But if this emerging vampire myth is simply a sign that rabies is back on the streets of the UK, then what is carrying it? And more importantly, where's the evidence?
In March 2005, the Daily Telegraph ran a story of a fox killing an Alsatian in broad daylight. This completely baffled wildlife experts. The BBC and several other newspapers shortly after that ran a story about a fox trying to snatch a baby, Louis Day, leaving it with serious facial injuries. And later in the same year even, a girl of 4 years old was attacked while sleeping in her own bed. All of this shows that foxes have been behaving very aggressively and in a very abnormal way. Trevor Williams, the director of the Fox Project in Tunbridge Wells, insists that this attack on baby Louis could have only been the result of a brain-damaged animal, shorthand for rabies. The disease makes the animals very aggressive and very violent, and it can be very easily transmitted to human beings by bites or scratches. Once a human being is infected and starts showing symptoms, it is fatal.
Some were saying they look like a wolf, some were saying they look like a fox.
In the UK, foxes have long been considered a threat to farming, but these new attacks are unprecedented in their boldness and destructive violence, turning this normally shy and timid species into a predatory killer. But with nearly 100 years separating this outbreak and the last recorded case of rabies in the UK, why has this happened now, and where did it come from?
Just over 3 years ago, a little-known scientific journal in the United States published a peer-reviewed paper that reported a new strain of Super-Rabies spreading through a community of skunks in Arizona. By 2009, National Geographic were reporting that the same strain had been passed and was spreading rapidly through the East Coast fox population. This new form of rabies is transmitted much more easily than the known forms, passing from fox to fox in the same way as a common flu.
The flu-like spread of the Super-Rabies strain has changed the way in which rabies is transmitted throughout the population, and there is evidence that it has rendered the UK's defence against the disease useless. Why aren't they warning the general public?
You know, it doesn't take a genius to figure out why the government aren't telling us about the threat. It's no secret that there is currently a worldwide shortage of rabies vaccine, and the demand for it has pushed prices through the roof. It would be more than our NHS can bear, and a nationwide vaccination program would absolutely bankrupt the already stretched health system, and it'll bring it crashing down. In the context of the current global economic crisis, it would seem that this is too much of a price for the government to pay, and the reason why there's evidence of a conspiracy to cover it up. But ignoring it won't make the problem go away, and if they are not going to do anything about it, then we have no choice but to act.
If the experts are right, then the Super-Rabies, spread freely by a fox population, exploding in the wake of the 2005 ban on hunting, could constitute the UK's single biggest health crisis since the Great Plague of the 17th century. Now it's up to us to stop it.